and I got to make sure that I know exactly what I'm saying before I put this out because it's kind of game breaking actually.
It, yeah, it
Yeah.
is. It is. When I watched the video, my jaw dropped. I suppose we can go straight into like the elephant in the room, the video that you posted in regards to the unintended game feature. So I really want to pick your brains about it.
Oh
How
yeah.
did you even come across the issue with the with what you discussed in the video?
When I first joined doing DayZ Science again, when it was like 2 years ago, August 2 years ago,
Hmm.
2020, I believe, just when Corona hit. I was testing out different armor, and just by accident, I had a test dummy set up with the plate carrier, holding a plate carrier,
Hmm.
and I was shooting around to see if I could hit the hitbox of the plate carrier because it looked like it was bugged, like in one hand.
Yeah.
And I was shooting around, and then I hit a hitbox, and I was thinking that it's just the plate carrier that has this hitbox. And I thought this is going to make a fantastic video. And I thought to myself, well, if it's just a plate carrier, and I can't find any of the hitboxes on anything else,
Hmm.
so I'll just leave it as that. I'll just maybe I'll come back to it later, see if I can investigate. It could just be a bug with the plate carrier.
Right.
And then a few weeks ago, Cosmo came to me. He's a fantastic bug reporter for the DayZ community.
Okay.
And he said that the metal plate in 1.19 was protecting people when they were holding the metal plate. There was a hitbox on the side that was protecting people. And I went in just to test it out because anytime someone comes to me with a theory on something, I'll test it out quickly.
You've got to. Yeah. Exactly.
Yes, and the metal plate also had a hitbox on the side, on the right side of the character. And that gave me a flashback to the plate carrier. And then I tested the plate carrier again, and it was the same position as it was 2 years ago. And then I just went on this wild, scientific journey.
Hmm.
It was like, you know, um, just got lost basically for several hours testing out loads of different things. And how can I categorize this to show people what this is about?
Right.
And I got to make sure that I know exactly what I'm saying before I put this out because it's kind of game breaking actually.
It. Yeah. It
Yeah.
is. It is. When I watched the video, my jaw dropped. I was like, "Are you kidding me?" Like, because there's been loads of reports over the years about situations like this. With the the bullet protection, and I shot this guy clearly, and nothing happened, or whatever else. This explains it. So I assume using the DX Diag tools
Hmm.
that came in 119 really helped with learning about the science behind it, learning how it works.
Exactly, yeah, because the hand positions were shown
Hmm.
with the triangles. I'm not sure exactly how these triangles work exactly to where the hand position is. I'm sure the devs know this,
Hmm. Well,
but
if
I
I
think the way they're
recall,
connected is difficult.
yeah, because if I recall correctly, um, each part of the body, like your legs, your hands, arms, torso, whatever, is a proxy. So I'd imagine that those triangles are the proxy for the hands, and then it's all attached via the skeleton. And when something's attached on a proxy, it can mess things up. This is something that my friend Dumgra told me about. When you add proxy on a proxy, it can mess things up. So this probably is that case. But your video kind of proved that a little bit, which, again, jaw dropped, and I was like, this is great. This is bad, but it's great.
Yeah. I think
So,
it's gonna open things up for the devs
mhm,
to hopefully work towards fixing this, I think.
absolutely. Have you had any like correspondence from the devs from like not just this video, but any of your other videos that you've covered that shows a bug or game breaking bug?
No, I try to keep a distance from the developers because I think it's much healthier for the community if I do that. If I've got some sort of inside
Mhm.
track to the developers, then it sort of puts me at a great
Yeah.
advantage, and also I can manipulate stuff, and they can say don't post this and don't do that.
Mm,
You know
yeah,
what? I actually
So
really respect that. I really do.
yeah, fair play.
Because
I-
that's the thing. You've got a large responsibility, as you were saying. You want to make sure that the information you have is accurate, which so far it seems it. And I just watched your backpack video just before, and I'm still like, how? How
I
is the
know.
tactical
It's
I'm
an
the
backpack
same way. I'm
oversight.
like,
bulletproof and
how?
stuff? It's crazy.
It's just an oversight. I'm sure that now
is.
it's been shown off and it's, in front of the community to see, which I believe it should be out there, for the player to gauge if this should be fixed or not, and it certainly should, I think.
Oh, absolutely, definitely.
I think that what they're going to do now is probably work on these proxies. The first time I've heard of proxy was today, and that was from Dumgra on Twitter.
Oh well, there you go.
I don't know much about the skeleton or the proxies or
No.
connections of the hands or anything like that.
Yeah, it's really like far like the modding knowledge of stuff. I don't really understand all of it. I'd be lying if I was saying I was a professional in all that stuff. I'm just basically saying what Dumgrass told me. But I'm really curious with you obviously doing so much science and looking into stuff. Have you come across other stuff that you want to talk about or don't feel it's necessary to talk about, just stuff like that? Or any surprise discoveries that you found from looking into this issue?
Not really.
No,
No.
fair enough.
Uh,
Good. That is good.
yeah.
Good answer.
This is about as far as the hitboxes issue goes for me. I'm going to be investigating more of the geometry, which is related to how bullets interact with the world in DayZ, and I'm going to see if there are other like inconsistencies or things that shouldn't be the way they are. I recently tested bushes because you can now see the hitboxes for bushes.
Yes.
So I was testing that, and they seem to be working perfectly. So there's no issues with bushes or anything like that. They might affect a bullet's trajectory slightly, but I don't believe they're going to have a massive difference. I will test it more. I've got it on my list to test. But at the moment, I've got a video planned for vehicles. So I'm going to be testing the geometry of vehicles. Because the hitboxes for engines are quite weird, and the
Yeah.
hitboxes for glass as well. Like when you break a window in DayZ, it doesn't actually remove the hitbox. So the bullet will still be slowed down even though the window appears to be broken. So that's something I'm going to be highlighting.
Ah, that's interesting. That is interesting.
Oh.
Yeah, it also means that, if you break a window on a car, you'd expect a certain round to go through it. Imagine if you're firing the M79 through a window, an explosive round, you're going to hit the window and kill yourself.
Yeah, it's going to bounce, isn't it? Yeah.
So that's
Always
something
use
I'll be looking
swivel
into.
first and stuff.
But other than that, there's not a lot of other issues, I don't think.
I'm just perplexed by just that because, I mean, with me being modding for the game for 2 years and being a fan of it since God knows when, just learning that is... It's so crazy because the amount of times when I've tested, like, tested bullets and guns and stuff that I've developed, I've never noticed that issue with glass and windows. So I'm going to have to go back and redo some stuff. Shit.
Well, I take it it's still the same though, isn't it? So open windows will go through anything that is clearly a window that would appears to be greyed out or blocked off. It just bounce off. I assume that's is that still the case, Wobo?
When it comes to vehicles, I think they're the only ones that actually shatter when you damage them
Right.
enough.
Yeah.
I think it's related to vehicle glass only, but some modders might have created glass textures that
Right.
break that are similar to vehicle windows breaking, and the hitbox, the fire geometry it's called, doesn't disappear.
Okay.
And I don't think that's going to be an easy fix.
No, that won't be. Because I know when it comes to the texture side, you can hide selections That's fairly easy to do, and you can do that with all sorts of different stuff. But to do it for like view geometry or fire geometry, you can move it, but you can't make it disappear as far as I'm aware. So that'll be fairly interesting to see if they actually develop more on the engine side to do that. But
Yeah,
we'll have to wait and see.
Dumpgrad just said that base building hits the fire geometry, so it could be possible, yeah.
Hides. Okay. Like, we're gonna have to look into that then. That'll be a good base. Thank you, Dump.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, it was honestly, it was a fantastic, entertaining video, and again, I was so happy to see you come back into the community, and you're still trucking on through, still making these really amazing videos, and always watching them, even if I'm at work. I sneak a couple of minutes and be like, oh, watch a little bit of Wobo.
But they're the most interesting, I find, in terms of actual facts and figures. I was just discussing before we went live with Wobo very briefly around one of the most informative videos he's done that I felt he's done anyway, around the gun trajectory and bullets go through whatever. That was, when was that, Wobo? Was that about a year ago you put that out?
It was one of the first videos I put out when I first came back, so probably about a good 18 months ago, I think.
Yeah, I was going to say, I still remember it, mate. It was it definitely had an effect on how I PvP anyway.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it was going to be eye-opening for everybody. I wanted to present it in a way that really made people interested in it. So I started it off with a nice little intro.
Yes.
To show it off, and then slowly brought people into it.
Mm-hmm.
It's a really, really fascinating side of DayZ. This bullet projectile deflection, penetration, how it slows down, reduces damage. I know it's not 100% realistic, and there are a lot of criticisms, especially with bullet speeds and how they should penetrate different surfaces.
Mm-hmm.
But for the most part, I think this, the most detailed game when it comes to bullet physics, and to see it happening in a game is really cool. Like in real life, you can't see this stuff, but to see it in a game, like the bullets bouncing around, gives you an idea of how it might look in the real world too.